Hello, crochet crafters. So I'm working on my greeting card series, and the first card that I did was a cat. So I'm not going to go back over the cat. If you don't know how to make a cat, you can go back and look at my tutorial on YouTube for cats. I'm going to put a dog right here, and I really love to do this card. It says, "I dig your meow," which is great for anniversaries or sweetheart. Whatever you would like to put on the card is great. So you can do your own saying. So create a magic circle, or I'm going to use the chain 2 method, and I use that quite often. I'm not crazy about the magic circle. So the first chain on there should be extremely loose. I normally tell you that it needs to slide up and down comfortably, but you want it to be loose because that's what we're going to work our stitches into, is the chain 1. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that chain. And then chain 2 does not have to be as loose because we're working from the second chain into that first chain. So we're using this like a magic ring. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 6 single crochets into your chain 1 or your magic ring. So it's going to be basically using a size 2 crochet hook. You're going to do 6 single crochets. If you can work your tail into it, fine. If you can't, it really doesn't matter, because you're going to have an opportunity to just get rid of that tail as we go. Once you've done 6, you can slip stitch into that first one that you started with, and then you're going to chain 1. Again, not worrying about too much about the tail because we'll get rid of that. So the next round that you want to do is each one of those 6 stitches, you want to put 2 singles in each stitch. So you're going to do 1, and then you're going to go back through that same stitch and 2. And you're going to do that all the way around. Now, if it's more helpful for you to use a stitch marker, you can feel free to do that. I'm going to just keep kind of working all the way around. Again, you've got 6 stitches, and you're going to go through the back and the front loop. So make sure you're grabbing, I'm missing the back and the front loop. And it's a little bit precarious and sometimes hard to work with a size 2 crochet hook, because it's just not an easy thing to do. So if you are not familiar with working with a small hook, work with a larger one for right now, and you can go back once you've mastered the art and make a smaller stitch. But see, even I have, unless you get a really fine yarn, but I'm working with cotton. And the reason you want to work with cotton is because it doesn't sweat. If you live in a hot climate and you use acrylic or wool on your cards, it will sometimes sweat. So again, we're doing 2 crochets in each of those singles. So when you get around, you should have 12. So if you count your stitches, you should have 12. Now, if you have a hole in the middle, do not even worry about it. This hole does not matter in this project because we're creating a dog, and the dog's face is going to go over it like that. And I'll show you his snout, or her snout, however you want to do it. So when you get back around and you've done that, you want to, again, slip stitch into the 1, and then you're going to chain 1. So there you should be. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and cut that miserable little tail off, because I'm tired of trying to work around it. Now your next round is going to be a single crochet in the first stitch. There's 12 of them. So you go single crochet in the first stitch and 2 crochets in the second stitch. So, oh, and I missed a loop there. and 2 crochets in the second stitch. So what are you going to do? You're going to work around those, you're going to do that 6 times. So I did that once. Again, if you need a stitch marker and you're not sure where you left off, make sure you put a single and then a single into the second stitch. So that's my second round. Now my third, I'm going 1 single, and then I'm doing 2 singles. And then I'm going to do 1 single again, 2 singles in the next single crochets. This is what's called an amigurumi style. So you're going to do another, and you're going to do this 6 times. So the same thing 6 times till you reach your place marker or all the way around. If you can't count that out, I do what's called a counting method. In order to get all the way around. Now I'm purposely using 4 strands from a cotton, but it's a lot harder to work like that. If you've got a 2-strand cotton, which is not as bulky, but what happened was I went ahead and did this with the 4, so I don't want one to be too light and one to be too heavy. So you can see this is starting to take shape now. So once you get through that round, and you've done that 6 times, once you get back around, I'm not quite there yet, you're going to do a single crochet. Let's get this around, see how far I want to go with that. I may want to stop the face right there without the next round. If you get all the way around and your face fits on the card perfectly, I want to show you what I mean by that. See this round right there? So I may not want to go any further, because if you do the next round, it would be a single and 2 singles in the third chain. I'm just going to do a few more singles. You can do a few more singles, and then you can slip stitch it off to where you started. So that's my 1 2 1 2, and there's where I started. So I'm going to slip stitch that off. So somewhere along the way, that's about the size of my face that I want. I like that size, so I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to pull it through. And the beauty of this sometimes is you can just glue this under too. You don't have to even, because it's going on a card, it's easy to work the tails. So you're going to go ahead and use that same process. You're going to use a magic circle with a different color to make kind of the, the dog's face right here, this part. So you're going to use a different color, and you're going to do the magic circles still with 6, and then you're going to put 2 single crochets all the way around like you started this process, but you're going to stop when you get to the 2 single crochets. You're going to tie off, and then you're going to work it, you're going to work it through with a threader. I'm just kind of doing that right now as a rough start, so you can see where the nose goes. And then, the padding for his kind of a bulldog look here. And then to do the nose, you're basically going to do a magic circle and just do the 6 crochet stitches, the 6 singles. It's the same pattern, but you're only, you're stopping. And then that's going to be there for the nose to work that through. That's going to be the nose. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some ears. Now there's different types of ears that you can do, but I'm just going to do a little bit of a long floppy ear. So go ahead and get your yarn onto your crochet hook and go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chains. I think that's going to be the good size for the, you can make it shorter or longer depending on the dog's ear. Now, you want the ear to be a little bit wider at the bottom. So what you're going to do, you're going to start out doing a double crochet. So you're going to go into that first stitch with a double crochet. And then the next one's going to be a double crochet. And the next one's going to be a double crochet. 3. And then the next one is going to be a half double crochet. And the next one's going to be a half double crochet. And then the next one's going to be a single crochet. And the next one's going to be a single crochet. And the last one's going to be, or did I not, a single crochet. And I can work that tail in if I want to, or I don't have to. Then you're going to repeat this process for the second ear. And then you're going to construct your dog just like that. You're going to put the second ear on. You're going to use your regular thread yarn. You don't want the yarn to be too thick. And then you're going to thread through 2 eyes for that. And then you will have your dog and cat card. Thank you very much.